Calling the meeting for Tuesday, December 1st to order. Roll call first, please.
Mr. Mingus.
Present.
Mr. Westmoreland.
Present.
Mr. Moore.
Present.
Ms. Abrams. Mr. Toler.
Here.
Ms. Richards. Present. Mr. Duncan. Here. Ms. Simmons.
Here.
Mr. Bush.
Here. All right. This time we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem. I'm going to ask Mr. Jerry Moore if he would introduce our special guest tonight.
Okay, so tonight we're going to be led in our Pledge of Allegiance by a group of students from Greenville Park, our Leadership Academy. Yeah, it's an unprecedented, during my tenure, to have a group of student council members to do this. So we're going to just let them take it from here.
Please stand.
Hello, my name is Bobby Matthews and I am principal of Greenville Park Leadership Academy. This year's theme is Level Up Jeepla, and I'd like the opportunity to introduce you to our 2020-2021 student council members.
Hi, my name is Vontrell Barton, and I'm student council president.
Hi, my name is Dale Doty, and I'm vice president of student council.
Hi, my name is Mia Banks, and I'm student council secretary.
Hi, my name is Sonia Womack, and I'm 4th grade historian.
Hi, my name is Tyrone Wilson, I'm 8th grade historian.
Hi, my name is Kyler Hayes, and I'm 5th grade historian.
Please stand for the pledge with proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Level up on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Level up Jeepla!
If you would, remain standing. I think we have another one.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
That was Mrs. Anquilique Patterson of Hammond High, from the Hammond High Magnet School. We give a shout out to Mr. Bobby Matthews and Ms. Gatos for both those, for the leading of the pledge and for the rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. We have Hammond High, they're going to do, one more. The school choir from Hammond High Magnet School is going to sing Silent Night.
Street.
1, 2, 3.
With that, we turn it back into the hands of the president.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, and thank you for all those that participated.
Mr. Vitola, I'd like to say, too, that choir is under the direction of my granddaughter-in-law, Elizabeth Robbins, at Hammond High, and that happened to be my son-in-law that did the prayer tonight. And he has his wife, who's a teacher at Hammond High, my daughter, Rachel Robbins, and their daughter, Kate. So I just wanted to recognize them all tonight.
Good to have you all with us. All right, item consider approval of board minutes from November 17th, 2020. We hear a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Mingus to accept the minutes, seconded by Mr. Westmoreland. Electronic voting, please.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, item 2A, recognize the recipient of the Enos Jake Bailey Jr. Above and Beyond Award. Ms. Sandra.
Tonight, we'd like to call up the Child Nutrition Department that's here, and it's going to read, and when people here, we can come up front. Mr. Brushinalabot is the one that nominated this group of people, so we'd like him to say a few words.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. Tonight it's my honor to present the Enos Jake Bailey Jr. Above and Beyond Award to several child nutrition staff members. Stand behind you. Due to COVID-19, it was recently necessary for the entire Martha Vineyard cafeteria staff to be quarantined for 6 days. Also, Laranja Elementary cafeteria was severely short-staffed recently due to the pandemic, too. These instances could have caused major problems at these schools. However, due to the efforts of these child nutrition staff members, things ran smoothly at both cafeterias. The following staff members are commended for their willingness to step up and go above and beyond during this difficult time. Melissa, will you help? I'll call out their names and you can them. I'd like to recognize the Director of the Department, Ms. Kendra Reed. Ms. Jody Bordelon. Ms. Tabitha Gills. Ms. Dominique Rogers. Ms. Katie Easley. Ms. Alexis Alexander. Ms. Elena Robinson, who is watching virtually from home. Ms. Amanda Wilson. Ms. Diane Coleman. Ms. Barbara Thomas Davis. And Ms. Trudy Davis. I'd like to congratulate y'all for your commitment to your hard work and to the dedication, and to thank you for your commitment to the students of Tangipahoa Hope Parish that you do every day. Thank you.
have a gift certificate, so you all can go out to eat, but I didn't know it was this many. So you can stretch it a little bit, Miss Kendra.
To the board president and all the members of our school board, Superintendent Stilley, the TPSS executive administrative team, guests, and lastly to Ms. Sandra Bailey Simmons for continuing to pass the torch on and recognize employees in this district through the Enos J. Bailey Above and Beyond Award. This award is for the hard work and dedication to not just the person or persons who perform their job duties, but work effortlessly and have a strong compassion for the profession they are in. On behalf of me and my child nutrition staff, thank you so much for shining the spotlight on our department this evening. We will continue to persevere through these unique and difficult times, all while continuing to serve the students of our school system. Each one of us in child nutrition have families that understand what we do, so they just deal with us in our busy yet challenging child nutrition careers. 7 years ago, when I first came to work in Tangi, no one could have made me believe that I would meet some wonderful individuals throughout my journey here and later become my second family. As I share this platform and award with my other CNP staff, we just want to let everyone know, most importantly, our parents and students, that each day as we will all show up for work, we give everything we have. I am not just talking about ordinary work, but giving 110% of our minds, body, and soul. By using the acronym CNP, I want to clear up any misconceptions with what goes on in our department and our cafeterias across the parish. Because in order to work in our department, this is what type of individual or individuals you have to be or deal with to work in this field. C is for creative. If you receive news from your assistant superintendent, Mr. Jinko, explaining to you that everyone must go home in quarantine, then speak into a principal question in what are we gonna do? Because there won't be any food service staff available to prepare and serve meals. First, you internally have a meltdown, but tell everyone we got this. You gather up all of the people you can to get the job done, even if you have to empty out most of your central office. So this is why I appreciate my staff for the hard work and creativity they show day in and day out. Not one person complained those days. Might I add, we all got in a little workout and slept like babies. If asked would we do it again, the answer is yes, we would in a New York second. N is for never ending. No matter how many hours you stay at work late or try to stay on top of things by getting ahead, it never fails. It never fails because the work is never ending. Believe me, there is always something to do every minute of the day in CNP, especially in our central office. We are like little TPSS firefighters putting out fires each day. Some may ask us what is there still left to do in the summertime or while our students are out on virtual days and our employees are having to report to work. It's simple. We are all brainstorming and working out plans for the next school year and conducting trainings with our staff. Trust me, by keeping busy makes our days and months fly very fast. And lastly, P is for prepared. Anyone who has worked in this department knows you have to always be prepared for anything and everything. In order for each kitchen to do what they do daily, we have to have things prepared in advance so we can rock and roll. However, in the central office, this is where the decisions go down, and so we try to stay ahead of the curve. But July 28, 2019 proved us so wrong because we were hit with a cyber attack. The reason I remember that date is because that date changed forever in our lives. Not just in my department, but our entire district. It did not just teach us that if we are not prepared, you will have to get prepared for the next time. Throughout it all, we love what we do here in child nutrition. You noticed I said words such as we, our, us. That is because without my staff, there is no I in the word team. Thanks again, and we appreciate and accept this award.
Will the family members of the child nutrition program people being recognized today please stand?
Thank y'all.
Tom.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate everything that y'all do. I think everybody grew up loving their lunchroom staff.
Absolutely.
I know I did, because I got extra milk and extra rolls, so I still see those ladies, and I still thank them to this day. All right, item 3A, academic update. Ms. Mildred Johnson, update on transitional services for students with disabilities.
You need to say why you skipped it.
I'm sorry. We pulled item B because there was a confusion in the date, and they didn't realize it was the right date, so we were skipping item 2B, going straight to item 3A.
Just a
Hey,
second.
Ms. Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Sure. Just a second, Ms. Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me again the opportunity to speak with you, to President, to Superintendent, and to the board. You know, I tell everybody I get excited when it's something that you're passionate about, and I'm very passionate about students with disabilities. So I'm very excited. So if I get a little emotional, just ignore and just keep it going. So we're going to give transition updates. And what I'm going to do is kind of take you through what we are and what we're doing and the progression that we want to go. So I always think about the end result. You know, we call this backwards design. And our backwards design is that this is ultimately what we want for our students with disabilities. This is an autistic child who is an HBCU grad, and she owns a Subway. So when you believe you can achieve something, the world presents a variety of people and circumstances that will help you achieve it. So we want to do that in Tangipahoa Parish. We want to help our students with disability achieve. Now, this might not be their goal, but we want them to actually transition to work. So keep that in mind when we go through the slides. And so when we think about students with disabilities, we look at the unemployment rate. People with disabilities is 14.3%, and people without disabilities is 10.3%. But this is what's really amazing is people with disability only account for 19.8% of the workforce. Look how dramatic. What are we doing with our children? Where are our children with disabilities? I'm going to show you. The labor force participation rate is people with disabilities is 20%. People without disabilities is 67.2%. We know that there is a need and there is a problem that we have to try to fix, especially in Tangipahoa Parish. So what have we been doing? This is the work. October was National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and that's where we celebrated the board as every mayor in Tangipahoa Parish by signing a proclamation. And what we want to do is bring awareness to everybody in this parish about what needs to be done with students with disabilities. So I attended all the council meetings. You see there where we have Mayor Bates. We took a picture at the council meeting as well as the Mayor Hammond. So all the mayors are aware. So then what are we going to do about it? They are aware, so what are we going to do? We're going to start with our schools. So what I've done is we have streamlined, and I always say we use what we got. Remember, Teresa Hamilton always said we have to use what we got. Why reinvent the wheel? So we use what we got. We already have Cooter Navigator within our schools. I met with Carly Cooper, and now every student will be using the Cooter Navigator to do the career entrance inventory. Students with disabilities, if you have an IEP, it is mandated by the IEP that they have 2 career entrance inventory. In the past, everybody was just using whatever they have. Well, now, say for instance, if you have a student that's at Hammond High and that student goes to Kentwood, guess what? It's all aligned. They will still use Tutor Navigator and it will follow them. And that way the teachers are not reinventing the wheel. We're not putting more pressure on the teachers. We're going to use Tutor Navigator, and then we already have our career entrance inventory books, and they're going to use those. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I want you to think about where this is going. When we do career entrance inventories for students, we want to know what their interests are. It's individualized. So say for instance, I remember when I started the program at Hammond High where we were taking students on the bus and taking them to Ross's to pack bags. Well, our students deserve so much more than that. We're limiting our students. It's not individualized. Every student doesn't want to pack bags. Every student doesn't want to work at the grocery store. We have to put other businesses out there for our students to take advantages of. So we're going to start at the schools, making sure that our students do the career entrance inventory and follow suit through all the schools. So all the special ed teachers are aware of this. And I'm not going to say mandate, but this is what we're requiring for them, for our students. And then also, we even have those students who are our Leap Connect students. Those students, we found that in the unique system that we already have, you're not spending any more money, Mrs. Notabot. We already, when we talk about the unique system, we already have transition passport that's within the schools, within the unique system itself. So we have been doing the transition passport binders. We're in the process. We started with Amite High School, and we're going to go to the other schools to ensure that those students who are Leap Connect would also have transition with them as well. And then we have the PACE labs. In the PACE labs, we want to make sure that it's fully functioning at all of our schools, and we're going to take the time out to make sure. But this is most important, and this has been really, really important what we've been doing. We've been working with LRS, Louisiana Rehabilitation Services, and they have a pre-ETS employment application, where in the past, our kids we haven't had all of our students taking, filling out the application. So now, all 12th graders now should have a pre-ETS application filled out. In March, we will have the 11th graders. So we have a system in place where we will make sure that all of our students, and we've kind of left out those students that have a 504 or IAP. We also have those students that we're going to ensure that they fill out the application. So why is that important? It's important because LRS provides services for our students. We have monies available that we could tap into, and I'm going to get into that shortly. So we're making sure that our 11 and 12 graders, these are some things that we're doing we have a student that's actually sewing in the PACE lab. We had a PACE training, and this is the actual PACE lab that's being utilized at Amite High School. This is at Laranja. We have our student who's actually working and cleaning. And then we also have a recording artist that came to visit one of our students who's interested in making music. And if you go to the Facebook page, you will see where he actually took out the time, gave him the voice lessons and so forth, tied a shower, so we thank him so much for that. And then what are our next steps for success? We're going to identify students that are ready to work at each high school. I'm really excited because Dr. Caminito, the principal of Ponchatoula High School, has already identified some students. So we're in the process of finding those students jobs. It's about 5 of them so far. So we're excited about that. And then we're going to continue to meet with principals and teachers to ensure transition services are being followed for all students. Continue to meet with businesses. If you are in the Hammond area, you know Medline is trying to come to Hammond, so I've actually went to a presentation for them, and I just flat out asked the question, are you willing to train our students with disabilities? Because of course they're a $17 billion company, and he said yes, so I was really excited about that. So hopefully we'll tap into Medline for our students as well. And then we want to ensure that applications are completed for LRS for all students in 11 and 12th graders. And this is something I met with Mr. Snodderbock this morning. I'm really excited because we found out that Tangible Parish School System is a vendor. And because we're a vendor, we could train our own kids to work in the school system. Aren't you excited about that? I'm excited because think about what it would do for our students. Well, of course, maybe, they don't want to work in the cafeteria. They don't want to see their peers see them do custodian work. But if we are training our kids, we have got them the career entrance inventory, we have trained them with pre-eds. Think about what the mindset of our kids and how it will change them overall, their self-esteem, what they could do. And then I know that most people are saying, well, they get a little check. Well, they can still work. So we're trying to change the mindset of our people, of our community, because guess what? We're Tangi proud. So I'm excited about meeting with Brett Snallbach and making sure that our students are now. I know there are some issues that we got to probably cover first, but I'm excited that we will be able to hire our own kids. And just think how it will be that when there is a need in the maintenance department, if we have already trained those kids, how we can get them to go into the maintenance department without trying to go outside of Tangible Parish. And then also we're in the process of trying to get a transition specialist at each high school. Now LRS pays for a vendor to come in and provide those pre-eds for our students. However, we're trying to make sure that if we get our own people to do and train our own kids, how valuable it will be for our students at that particular high school. So I know I've said a lot of things, and I hope that if you have any questions, please let me know. I just know that our kids so need this in our community. When you see most of our kids with disabilities, they're just sitting at home. And these are kids who could probably work. So we have really missed, and I'm not talking about those kids who could probably go to options. I'm talking about those kids who can't go to options, who don't qualify for options. We have to give them something more. And I'm going to work diligently to make sure that we have 100% of our students with disabilities employed in transition. And another thing I want to add is that when they graduate, the school system has to follow those kids for a whole year. Think about if we still have those kids employed after a whole year, how impactful that would be for our community and for our society. So again, thank you so much. I hope you get on board, get excited, because I'm very excited about what we're doing for our students with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do have something I'm going to pass out. Amite High School has a craft show, Christmas craft show, that they do every year. You might have missed it, but they wanted me to present it to you all today.
Any questions for Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Simmons?
I'm just so impressed with this program. I've been speaking with Ms. Johnson about it. I have a grandson, and unless it touches somebody in your family and all, it might not be important to you, but I think it's an amazing program, and we have programs for the gifted and those that are high achievers and all, but we also need programs for those that have a disability. And I'm thrilled to death. And so in March, you'll be coming to Ponchatoula High to check with this kid. Yeah.
Actually, this week we're going to Ponchatoula High. On March, they'll start filling out their application. But Dr. Caminita has already kind of got her list in line, so he's on the list. So we're excited.
Oh, he's on the list? Because I was going to call him Monday.
Yeah, so we have it.
So do they need to drive to their jobs from the school?
That's another thing we have to check on. Hopefully we can get some monies available through LRS. We have to kind of check into that. And I guess we have to really work out the logistics of how it's going to work. But some kids, we probably could work after school. May not necessarily be in school. So we're going to meet each kid individually. We're not going to group them together. I know people say, oh, that's a enormous task. But that's what it's all about. It's individualized. So we're going to it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But hopefully, even if we just start with 1 or 2 schools at a time, we'll make an impact.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Ms. Any other questions?
Yes. Ms. Johnson, that is so good because I too have a nephew that finished up at Kentwood with disabilities, and he's really, really smart. He went through to LSU, and in 5 years he received a degree from LSU. But now the problem is finding employment. So he's kind of despondent because it's like, okay, I'm a graduate from LSU, but nobody will hire me. So that is, I'm proud that you're taking it a step farther and looking for the employment.
Thank you so much.
Do you have a child with a disability?
I don't.
Because you're very passionate about this, so big heart.
I
you must
actually,
have.
when I majored in college, I actually went to England and I studied those students who had severe disabilities. Like I actually worked there, so I've always had a passion for it. So I just love children. I was a foster parent and so forth. So I love children. Period. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that
Bless
children
you.
are successful.
You do a good job. Mr. Tola, did we visit a school and they had a group of kids with disabilities? They ran the PJ's Coffee Shop at
That
that
was
school?
at Walker, and their coffee shop was ran by all special needs students.
Yeah.
That needed something to do, and it gave
We
them,
saw it in action. It was great.
gave them life skills. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's what we're actually doing. When I spoke with Dr. Caminito, she's willing. Now, I want you to understand that some of our schools are, with those students, they are having some skills that they're doing at their school, like Amite High, Laranja High, Ponchatoula High. But also, we have to take it from the school into the community, so that they need to transition. So we're in the process of helping them transition to the community. Because
Great.
they are doing the work.
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Yeah, and I do want to thank Ms. Fussell. I know she doesn't like to be recognized, I don't either, and Ms. Rachel De Benedetto for their encouragement. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have a couple committee reports. Item 4A, Capital Outlay Committee of the Whole from November 17th.
Move to adopt.
Motion made to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Duncan, second by Ms. Simmons. Any questions, comments, or public input? Having none, call for the vote.
My computer kind of shut down on me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. That's neat.
Want us to vote by?
No, no.
Does this go with that? Is this, Miss?
Motion by Ms. Simmons?
Thank you.
Motion by Mr. Duncan, seconded by Ms.
Ms.
Simmons.
Simmons.
Thank you, Mildred. Miss Mildred.
Online voting is open.
Miss Mildred. Oh, never mind. I think that's, I don't know if that goes with that.
Nope.
Online voting is closed. Motion passes with Mr. Bush abstaining.
Okay, item 4B, Capital Outlay Committee of the Whole from December 1st, 2020.
Move to adopt.
Motion made by Mr. Duncan. Second by Ms. Richards. Any questions, comments, or public input? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Voting is open.
Mr. Moore?
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, and then we'll turn it over to the superintendent, who has 3 items.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're quite welcome.
Item 5A, I would like the board to consider accepting the resignation of Mr. Jonathan Rucker from the Educational Facilities Improvement District Board. And just to give you the reason behind that is that one of the criteria for serving on that board is that your residence is in Tangipahoa Parish. And so Mr. Rucker didn't really realize, well, he didn't realize that it was one of the requirements until after the board approved. And so he let us know that he was not a full-time resident here in Tangipahoa, and that he wanted to step down from the board.
I need that. I move to accept his resignation. We have a motion to accept the resignation.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dominguez. Any questions? Any public input? Hearing none, call for vote.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. President, before we take the next agenda item, if I may,
Go ahead.
just ask that the secretary record that as I'm the subject of this agenda item, I am not going to participate in the deliberation or vote on this specific agenda item.
All right.
Just ask that that be recorded in the minutes.
It is noted.
Item 5B, administration would like the board to consider approval for our Tangipahoa Parish Board member, Mr. Duncan, Brett K. Duncan, to serve on the Educational Facilities Improvement District Board. We felt like we needed a representative from the school board on this particular board. And we would make the recommendation to consider approval of Mr. Duncan to serve on our behalf.
I'll make the motion.
Ms. Simmons made the motion to accept, and Mr. Westmoreland seconded it. Questions?
What are the duties of this person, basically?
Brett, do you remember, can you tell us, I can't remember all the duties.
The board members are going to serve on the Education Facility Improvement District. If our board decides in the future that they would like to levy a tax proposition which would be a sales tax, additional tax, then our school board doesn't have the authority to do that. We would have to go through the Education Facilities Improvement District to obtain any portion above 2% or any portion of a sales tax. This board has the full authority to make that recommendation, to actually approve putting a tax proposition on the elected ballot in the future, and if approved, they would actually, the board would actually receive the sales tax collections and then remit those funds to the school board. So it's a pretty important board with a lot of independent authority, and I recommended to Ms. Stilley that one of our board members should serve on that board to have some input in that board's decision and in their discussion.
By mandate, we're required to have 5,
A minimum of 5.
and right now we have 7.
7, correct.
Okay, so we would still have 5 members outside of any.
You have 6 members outside of board member.
Right.
Yes.
Any other questions? Any comments? Public input? All right, voting, please.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes with Mr. Duncan abstaining.
Thank you. Item 5C, we have a number of policies that we need to send to policy to align to the new legislative changes that were recently done, and they were sent to us from Forethought, had flagged these for us, and so I'm going to read off the list of policies to send to the policy committee, ask the board to consider these. BCAD, the teleconference and remote participation in school board meetings policy. CBD, employment of the superintendent. DJE, purchasing. DJEC, bids and quotations. EFD, business continuity and educational technology disaster recovery. GBDB, employment of retired personnel. IDFAB, sports injury management and concussions. JBH, attendance reports for student drivers. JGC, student health services. And JGCE, child abuse. ask for approval to refer these to policy.
Okay, we hear that in form of a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Simmons,
Second.
second by Mr. Dominguez. Any questions? No questions? Any public input? All right, voting, please.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. Anything else? What about, let's see. Yeah, you can.
Item 6A, we would like to announce to the public that at our January 5th, 2021 board meeting, the Tangipahoa Parish School Board plans to discuss the possibility of placing a tax proposition on the April 24th, 2021 election ballot. No action is needed.
Okay, no action is needed. 6B, consider election of the 2021 board president. Do I hear a motion for a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Glenn Westmoreland.
No.
Huh?
We're doing president first.
Huh?
Doing board president first. Nominating.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am.
You're welcome to
I'd like to
nominate whoever
nominate
you would
Robin
like
Abrams. I'm sorry, I've got it all backwards this
to. You're
morning.
welcome to nominate whoever you would like to.
Robin Abrams, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're nominating Robin Abrams, who's our current vice president, for the 2021 board president. Do we hear a second on that? Second. Do we hear any other nominations or a substitute motion?
Well, is we tricking her?
Yeah, she's not here.
We sticking it to her?
She's not here, so it's going to be unanimous. Like Baptist.
Hey, you meddling now, brother.
All right, motion's been made to close the nominations, and hearing no other names, we will vote on Ms. Robin Abrams as 2021 board president.
Voting is open.
And she has acknowledged that she'll be willing to serve. I did check with her because I knew she would be out tonight.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, well, congratulations, Ms. Abrams. I know you're watching. Look forward to working for you and with you for the next year. Item 6C, consider election of the 2021 board vice president.
I already took care of that. 2 for 1.
That was the shortest term ever, Mr. Westmoreland.
Then you got demoted before you even started.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to nominate Glenn Westmoreland as our vice president.
All right, we have a motion. Seconded on this side?
I'll second
All
that.
right. Who can
Close nomination.
Motion's been made to move to close nominations. Having no other nominations, we will vote on Mr. Glenn Westmoreland to serve as our 2021.
Yeah. You know,
Say again? Yeah, that's right. So we're voting, voting for yes would be to approve Mr. Glenn Westmoreland as our 2021 board vice president. Voting, please.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Congratulations, Mr. Westmoreland. We look forward to working with you as well.
Thank y'all.
All right, board member comments. Start here, Mr. Moore.
Okay, so I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I believe that my comment is it's continuance, it's relevant, pertinent, that we do have still a very serious threat, with the ongoing pandemic, and my heart goes out again, and until this is over, to all of the distant learners. I do understand, and I'm a witness to the struggles that are faced each and every day with every distant learner. I have one at my house. And I know that, I know and I hope that we are going to do more. Most of the comments that I've gotten is that we need to do more. And I believe that. And so I'm hoping and pressing that we do more to help the children who are distant learning. It's very difficult to complete the coursework in the distant learning curriculum. I believe that it is the same as the one that the children are getting who are doing in classroom, up in personal learning. But without that close and personal instruction from a teacher, these curriculums are tough. They are tough, and I think that I've probably not been more challenged with the college curriculum that I completed years ago. And I mean, even that's probably changed now too. But I want to encourage those parents who have no choice except to keep the children home. And I think that we've had a slow dwindling of students trickle back into the in-classroom. And you know, I say, you know, hats off to those parents who have been able to get their children back in, but for those parents who are still contending with all the difficulties that I know that you're facing out there. You know, I say to you, you're not alone, and yes, this is difficult, and I'm hoping and praying that help is on the way, that things are going to get better for you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes, again, I'd like to say thank you to each of the board members for voting me as the vice president. I look forward to working with the president this next year, hopefully accomplish a lot of new things and better things as we continue. It's hard to believe that we've already been on the board for 2 years, halfway through a term. Time just flying away, but I know we've made a lot of accomplishments and look forward to more. And I would also like to say, as Mr. Moore has, that this is some tough times. There is a rise of the pandemic again, so we need everyone to stay safe during this time, especially during the holidays with family and gatherings and all. Just continue to be safe, and we'll be praying for each of you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mingus?
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Snoddelbach for recognizing the Child Nutrition Department. They are awesome. They work so hard. My grandmother worked in the cafeteria my whole life, and I know how hard it is. I've served many a meal just helping out, but I would never want to be the one to go cook that meal in a cafeteria. So God bless those ladies and gentlemen that do that. And Ms. Johnson, thank you so much. You're so eloquent with your speaking and your talking. We appreciate that. You said something about you said a lot in a short amount of time. You do speak fast, but I was reminded, with my daughter always tells me, Mom, you just need to listen faster. So I got everything you said. It was great. I appreciate it. Back in when I used to work in the classrooms, I had this class at Ponch Hill High School that they were taught life skills. I think that might have been the name of it. And those students absolutely had a job every day, and they could do it. And I remember this one individual child was given a box of pieces and parts that went with to put a hose together. And they had to learn how to put the hose together, take it apart, and they did it. And people need to do those things. I mean, factories don't do everything. So they had little chores they had to do, and if we teach it, they accomplish it. And so I appreciate the hard work that y'all are putting into that, because it is very much needed. And I'm not sure that we'll meet again before the holidays, so I just want to wish all our employees a great holiday season, and you'll be getting that 13th check. And I know it's not a lot. Don't spend it all in one place, but we do appreciate you, and we love you all for working so hard for our school system. So Merry Christmas to everybody if we don't see you again between now and then.
Okay.
Mr. Bush?
Janice?
Oh.
Okay. Again, I would like to say thank you to Ms. Johnson. Very good presentation. And I'm going to be calling you for some directions. Also, on behalf of the Tangipahoa Parish School Board, we would want to extend our sincere condolences to Dr. Hurst and his family, from Reverend Pastor Mac Hurst, who was a very prominent person in the Tangipahoa Parish as a pastor and a leader. So we want you to know that our condolences are with you. Also, as Ms. Rose said, we know that it's not a lot to our teachers, but you know, nowadays every dollar counts, and we just want to remind you to please spend it in Tangipahoa Parish, because that's why we were able to give it. So we need our money to stay here so that we can continue to give back.
Absolutely. Well said. Mr. Duncan?
I want to thank Ms. Johnson, too, for her work and her passion, particularly on this transition program for our children with exceptionalities. You know, we know that all of God's children have value, and we know that one of the most important ways that we can help people to feel value is by giving them work and something, a purpose, and which is what work does. So it is an important project, and I thank Ms. Johnson for the work that she does on that. Also thankful for recognizing our school food service workers tonight. As y'all know, my mother was a school food service worker with our system for 30 years. Those workers have a special place in my heart. They are a special brand of people, and I always appreciate recognizing them. And finally, want to thank the board for giving me more unpaid work to do. But seriously, you know, anytime your peers give you a vote of confidence like that and support you to represent them, it feels good, and I appreciate it. Along those lines, and then talking about the 13th check, you know, it's wonderful that that we are giving our employees those funds for Christmas, but hopefully everybody on this board agrees and understands that what our employees really need and what our system really needs is a permanent, long-term, substantial pay raise for all of our employees. All of our employees absolutely deserve to be paid more. We don't pay them enough. We pay them all that we can afford to pay them at this time, but in the months ahead, that is the discussion that we will be having as a board and as a community, is trying to find a way to fix the problem of our underpaid employees. From a teaching standpoint, from an education standpoint, we know that there is nothing more important or more effective that we can do to improve the quality of education for children than putting more highly qualified teachers in the classroom. That, you know, buildings are nice, facilities are nice. We know principals make a difference, administrators make a difference, but nothing makes a bigger difference than the quality of the instructor that is in front of those students. And we are at a crisis point in our system with a lack of the number of those people that we need. We do not have enough high-quality teachers. And the only way that we can turn that around is by being more competitive in what we pay our employees and specifically our teachers. So we have to make an aggressive move. We don't have time to wait any longer. We are already past the crisis point. The Vision 2020 Commission warned us 2 to 3 years ago that we were going to be at a crisis point if we did not address this by this point. We didn't address it as a community then, and we are now at that crisis point. So we have to act, and we have to act aggressively. So hopefully our community will engage in that conversation and be open to some ideas on how we can fix that problem in the months ahead. Thank you. That's my sermon for the year.
Ms. Simmons?
And to kind of add to that too, tonight when we had personnel, we had to hire a lot of people that are not certified, because our certified people are moving on probably to higher pays in different parishes, possibly so. So that's another reason we need to increase their pay. I want to congratulate our new president and vice president if I get it right now, Mr. Westmore, the Vice President, and Ms. Robin Abrams for their new role. We're looking forward to working with them. And also, I want to thank Mr. Tom Toller for being a wonderful president all these years, all these months. And you did a great job in some hard times. I really appreciate that. And Robin Abrams also did a great job. Also, Ms. Johnson, that was some outstanding performance tonight. It was wonderful. You made everybody excited about something that we need to be excited about. And I thank you so much for that program. And I was so excited when I told my grandson about it, how his eyes lit up that he was going to get to do something that mattered in his life. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, Ms. Stilley, for having her come tonight to present that program. Also, too, Mr. Schneiderbach, thank you for having our nutrition people come in tonight and be recognized, and they deserved every bit of it. I hope they could stretch that dollar out I gave them. But also, too, as far as cafeteria workers, Jake Bailey's mom was a cafeteria worker at Hammond High for many, many years, and she was a main breadwinner for quite a while there. So we know what that's all about as cafeteria workers. The other thing is, I'm reading my notes here, we have some teams that are in the playoffs, right? I hope I get them right. Would be Ponchatoula High School, right? Sumner?
Correct.
Amite?
Correct.
Kentwood?
Correct.
4. We have one more? That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so we're proud of those guys. And speaking of football, we really enjoyed watching TJ Finley from Ponchatoula play. Your heart swells with pride, when you look out there and see somebody that came from our schools. And then, of course, Devontae Smith. I watch Alabama a lot now because of him. And my husband says, you just like to say that name. I do. I like to say it, Devontae. But anyway, we watch him, and we get excited watching him out there on that field. I think that's all of the notes that I can actually read. Thank you.
Mr. Bush?
I'm not really sure what I could say. I think between you hit everything, except wishing my grandmother a happy birthday.
All right.
I just made that up, by the way. But the only thing I really want to say is I know serving as board president, I'd imagine, Tom, how many hours you have to spend. And I just want to say thank you, sir. I do not have those hours in my life to do. So I know you have to be at every committee, I would think, and you do a lot of stuff through a very difficult time.
Well,
so I'd like to say thank you for doing that this year.
Thank you, Mr. Bush. I appreciate that. Anything else? Just a couple quick comments, and I thought about the football when Ms. Sandra said that. Football, a lot of times we think about the athletic side. I know we've got some former coaches here, and this last Friday night, Sumner played Iota at Sumner, and it was a rain event, to say the least. And Iota, they traveled 2.5 hours to get to Sumner only to arrive for it to just be a washout. But after the game, I was working in a concession stand, and 2 families came up at the same time asking if we knew where the principal was, and I was trying to direct them. And before Mr. Larry got there, they complimented us on how well they were received at Sumner. Because it was a rain event, we kind of moved some of the gates around and got them to their, and for them to stop and compliment, and I'm glad that I was in that position at the moment to hear the compliment, to say that the players, they prayed together after the game, to hear them compliment the referees, to compliment everything about it. We forget that athletics is a goodwill between school systems. And everybody in here has probably been to another school where you were not received well. I like to hear stories of when one of our schools receives another town, another school in our area, and they leave happy. They did say they were in the middle of nowhere, but that's kind of true. But it's nice to hear those stories. So just want to say that. And then last, but I do appreciate this year. We started out in February, if you remember, Ms. Fussell and Ms. Simmons and Ms. Stilley and a couple of us, we went to Walker and we were looking at these big ideas on vocational training to implement this year, and I had a big wish list of what I wanted to see done in the first, in my year as president. And as everybody knows, we threw that list away in March because we were just trying to tread water after that part. So this has been a crazy year, and we missed out on a lot of things that we should have done as far as graduations and ceremonies and things. But overall, I compliment the staff, the administration on keeping things going and helping make that thing work. Because I can tell you, for those that will serve as president in the coming years, it's not this job that keeps everything rolling. She does a great job of keeping me informed, but this administration is what runs this school system, and I applaud Mr. Westmoreland for stepping up and Ms. Abrams for being willing to serve the next year and the next, hopefully the following year. We need good leadership in place, so thank you. And with that, Merry Christmas. I hope everybody has a good holiday and safe holiday season, and I hope they enjoy the I want to say Christmas bonus, but the 13th check, and like Ms. Richards said so eloquently, spend it here, spend it at home. And I'm going to give the last word to the superintendent. None? All right. Then I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
I'll make the motion. Read it.
Motion and second.
Read it, don't you?
Okay.
I read those things.
Do we need to read those and name them?
Yep.
We do not? Okay.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
All right, we are back in session. We have a quorum. Do I hear a motion regarding executive session?
On the Candace Wheat versus Tangipahoa Parish School System matter, I move that we adopt council's recommendation.
We have a motion to adopt council's recommendation on 8A. Second by Mr. Westmoreland. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes by common consent.
No action on the Kelly versus Tangipahoa.
No action on item 8C. Is that correct? Okay, any public input? Ms. Jenkins? No public input tonight. Anybody have anything else to add before we close? Superintendent? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.